Hello and welcome. This is Columbia Basin Research's third video in a multi-part series on using Program SampleSize. SampleSize is a program created by Columbia Basin Research at the University of Washington's School of Aquatic and Fishery Sciences with funding provided by the Bonneville Power Administration. SampleSize allows users to input a range of release sizes or estimates to calculate the precision of survival projections and view those results via a graphical interface. Today, I'm going to walk you through a single release study design. Let's start by opening up the program. Okay, type SampleSize in the search bar and load up the program. Maximize it, and you can click on single release right here. Now at a minimum, a survival probability is needed for each reach and a detection probability for each detection site. A single value in the minimum slot will provide a precision for that specific scenario. If tags will be removed at a point in the study for further measurements, etc., the expected proportion of removal at the time of detection, D, should be entered. So let's fill in some of these parameters. I'm going to start with a release size of 200, which would be the number of tags released at the R0 site. Then an S1 of 0.85, which would be the expected release from R0 to the first detection site. And a final S times P of 0.75, which is the combined probability of surviving to and being detected at the last detection site. A capture probability of detection at the first site of 0.5, and a portion removed of 0.2. Now you can see here, you can go down to Run Analysis, and it gives you your results table. The window with the results table will open up, documenting the parameters used in the calculations and providing the standard errors on the survival parameters. A 90% and 95% confidence interval is provided for the first reach survival, as this is usually the main parameter of interest. Confidence intervals are half-width. This means it's plus minus the estimated parameters to obtain the 90% or the 95% confidence interval. SampleSize also offers the ability to look at a range of parameters so that you don't have to estimate them one at a time. For a range of release sizes, value in both the minimum and maximum boxes next to R0. So put 300 in there. Output to the table now is presented for various release sizes evenly spaced between the ranges given. Reduce the range if you need a more precise release comparison. In addition to the expanded table, an interactive results graph is created on a separate tab. The two lines shown here are the 90% and 95% confidence intervals against the selected parameter, which in this case is S1. Graphical comparison across ranges can be performed on survival, detection, or removal parameters as well. To reset the input, put a 0 in the maximum box, then click off it. Then the other parameters will come up again. You can now add a range to these other parameters. This can only be viewed for one range of parameters at a time. In addition, if you want to include more reaches in your study, you could change the number of reaches here on the left-hand side. As you can see, with each reach added, the input box on the right side generates new rows for release sizes and the various probabilities. There are a few more things we can go over when you're creating your study designs. Let me go back to the 300 maximum example previously. Run that analysis and look at the graph here. You can see as I run my cursor along the confidence intervals that it shows me the particular numbers for every point on the graph. I can actually mark those by left-clicking. I'm able to zoom if I press down on here on the zoom button, and then by left clicking I can create a box and the graph will zoom into that box that I've just made so I can look at things in greater detail. I can reset that zoom back to normal and go back to manipulating the data by clicking on the data bar so that zoom is no longer highlighted. I'm also able to save this file as a PNG picture for use elsewhere by pressing this button and saving it as the file of your choice. If you go to your results table, you can also save your results as a CSV file for use in Excel. And if you'd like to save your overall study design, you can click on File, Save As, and then save it as an XML file that you can bring up in the future within Program SampleSize. This has been video number 3 in Columbia Basin Research's How to Use Program SampleSize, covering how to set up a single release study design. The next video in the series will cover paired releases, virtual paired releases, and Rigor 2 releases, as well as offering some hints and tips for your overall study designs. We hope that this video helps you get the most out of Program SampleSize. If you have any questions or comments in regard to the Program SampleSize, feel free to contact us or fill out our user survey as previously detailed. Best of luck with your study designs, and thank you.